All right, so we're rolling.
We're rolling.
We're here at Ceviche By
Divino
with the one and only Luis Baboon Palomino. Welcome, my friend, champ of champs, double champ at Bare Knuckle. Welcome and thank you for hanging out with us.
Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, for sure, man.
I already have the first question locked and loaded.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, you ready?
I've been waiting for this too. He said it was a good one.
You've heard, I'm pretty sure on social media, you've heard like 100 men versus a gorilla with a silverback.
Yeah.
My question is, how many Palominos versus a gorilla?
You're going to need a lot of Palominos, bro. I'll respect the 8. Respect the 8.
Like,
that's a lot of power, a lot of testosterone. Right?
Alpha male silverback versus how many Palominos?
Jeez, you're gonna need at least a good 100,000.
100,000. Wow,
No,
that's realistic.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking like maybe
the first
10.
time's gonna go quick.
Oh yeah.
Gotta gas them out a little.
No weapons either.
Gotta
Like
gas them out a little bit.
Just fist 20.
20.
Nah, well,
Man, I feel like you could do it.
a gorilla will go right through you, brother. That's a lot of power.
I read
That's a lot of power.
I read a silverback could uproot a tree.
You see what I'm saying? And
Yeah,
the
dude.
bite,
I didn't even think about the bite.
Their bite's even worse than a bear.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the bear, right?
Yeah. Like a bear could rip you in half, but a gorilla's even worse than
A
that.
silverback has a bite like that?
What? Yeah, they're powerful.
Well, they have that, like, they have the thing in the brain that, like, keeps your strength level. They don't have it.
Really?
Yeah. There's like a governor in our brains where, like, we're not able to be strong enough to, like, hurt our own body. The gorillas don't have that.
They just go.
Yeah.
Is that was like I remember in high school there was a special ed kid and this guy
We're going to get canceled.
and this kid was like so strong. I think his name was Nelson. Hi, Nelson. And he was so strong. And I remember like, in PE, how you would run the mile and he would just keep running. And then the teacher would like blow the whistle. Hey, Nelson, stop. He just kept on and on and on. And his mom, they called his mom to come make him stop.
Damn.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Well,
That reminds me
that's
of
not where I was going with it.
Like, oh,
It is, though. No, you're not lying at all.
No, I literally stayed thinking about Gagey for a while after that fight. After both fights that we had.
Yeah.
Because it's like if his sense of danger just wasn't on.
Doesn't exist.
Like he didn't have a button.
Yeah, he doesn't care.
That like he didn't have it. The dude, like I hate the dude with everything.
Yep.
They just keep coming forward like.
I mean, dude,
this guy.
it's crazy that Max Holloway was able to knock him out because, I mean, I guess it's just everyone gets there, But
You got him on that spot in that time, man. Everybody gets the number.
But that man's chin was crazy.
Crazy.
And his whole,
Crazy.
Don't get me wrong, he's good.
He's good, but the thing is his ability to ignore danger is what mostly impressed me. I intimidated a lot of people.
Yep.
do you think you have to train yourself to that, or he's naturally like that?
That's a gift.
Yeah.
He's naturally just
That's a gift.
walks forward.
I'm telling you, bro. I even thought about does this guy have some sort of there's no insult, no joking. Like, does he have like some sort of like
disability,
autism?
Yeah,
where he doesn't sense danger, or because like he'll literally fight until he dies. Like I remember our first fight. I'm walking right past his locker room and he's vomiting, bro. You know what that means? There's this a wrestler mentality too.
Yeah.
Wrestlers do this a lot. I've trained with so many wrestlers. Wrestlers will be, I respect wrestlers, okay? Wrestlers will be out of shape. But their training regimen is so strong. Their mind is so strong. They're so mental strong. Right?
Yep.
That they'll push themselves to that limit of vomiting.
Yep.
Even if they're not in shape.
get out of here. I didn't know that.
Oh, no, 100%. Dude,
And Gagey definitely did that. Like, I passed right by his locker room, he was just vomiting and vomiting. I think he vomited in the cage before you even get out.
Yeah, no joke, man. Like, when I was in college, we didn't have a wrestling team, but we had a club. And I was trying to learn jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. I wanted to do MMA too. So I'm like, let me go try wrestling. Dude, every single one of those guys, they had a trash can out and everyone was puking. I was like, yo, this is disgusting.
Push beyond that limit. Like, they're taught to do that.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's. I mean, that's why they say wrestling's like one of the best bases. It's not even it's the toughness.
It's the base.
Yep.
Well, my longest training partner ever was Ricardo Lamas.
Oh, that's a good training partner, dude.
Ricardo Lamas, bro, we were brothers. We used to call each other café con leche. Of course, I was café. I was café, right? and that dude, we had that thing going on where everything was a competition back, and he could not be the one to lose anything. You know, but that's that mental toughness that wrestling gives you. I think it's the most important sport for any kid. That's the first sport that I recommend any kids.
Well, dude, the sad thing is it's kind of like dying a little bit.
There we go.
Oh, here we
my
go.
goodness.
¿Qué tenemos aquí? ¿Qué tenemos aquí?
Ahora,
Uf.
que es la masa de papa, viene por dentro con mango, aguacate y bañado con la salsa de maracuyá y los camarones en papa.
Uf.
Oh my
Rick-
goodness.
Ricky was staring at exactly that on the menu.
So you know what that is?
Yeah,
What is it?
It's
Y
a
esta es una jalea roll, lleva pescado empanizado, lleva pepino japonés y canicama, que es como un café.
Uf.
Y por fuera
my
es
goodness.
bañado con la salsa tártara y los camarones empanizados con una chalaquilla.
Oh.
it just sounds really good.
Just do your thing, Ricky. You got to translate, man, for the people.
Esto está divino.
Sí, te uso.
Por favor, otro.
Me too. Thank you.
All
So
right.
this is the difference between an original, typical Peruvian restaurant and
the
Ceviche By
fusion.
Divino.
Yeah.
This is the fusion. This is where the Japanese infuses with the Peruvian style. That's what you get in the Peruvian rolls.
Right. So the outside, it's potato, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Causa, we call
Oh,
it
that's crazy. Is that shrimp?
Make it, my brother. Oh,
Is that shrimp on top?
shrimp on top. Oh, yes.
And then what's that one?
Something it had fish.
Oh, you guys are going to expose me again with this.
Oh my god. Look at the way
No, don't look at me at all.
hold on. Here you can serve.
Oh, come on. You're a mess, dude.
Yeah, I just want to get him taking the first bite.
Yeah, that's right. Hey,
Hold on,
look at that.
wait.
I was able to hold it.
Let me record you taking it's like
Gotcha.
a thing we do
Okay.
where you see
This thing out the way.
yeah, hold on. Let me do a 4K.
So you ready? You ready?
All right, what do we have here? Look at this.
The causa with your fried shrimp on it. Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
What'd you say this one was?
It had a
Fish.
all right. Is it spicy?
No,
Actually,
no,
don't tell me. I can't handle spice.
it's not spicy in the least,
No.
dude.
But
There's no spice, right?
No. It's actually kind of refreshing.
Yeah, because that's like a ceviche.
Yeah. That's actually really good.
Mhm.
I'm not the biggest
Oh my
seafood
God.
guy, and that actually tastes really good to me.
this
You
is
gotta-
so
you gotta try
good.
that shrimp.
Dude, let me get one of those.
This is so good. Oh my goodness.
It looks hard to eat.
Mm-mm.
Yep, there we go.
Muchas gracias.
Rol acevichado. El rol acevichado tiene
Use the fork.
No, I'm good. I'm good.
aguacate, lleva la papa dulce y el camarón al pan.
Ese es el cevichado.
Ese es el ceviche.
That's the one that's the ceviche roll.
Sí.
Okay.
Tiene la salsa cevichada por fuera con ceviche tradicional. Y aquí están las croquetas de pulpo.
And
Dios
that's
mío.
octopus.
Octopus?
You like
That-
octopus?
I mean, dude, I'll eat anything. But this is actually like really good, man.
Yeah, try some.
Oh my god, dude, this is excellent.
Oh, this is another one. All right.
Yeah, that's our cevichado.
This is the octopus.
No, the octopus is over there.
Oh, all right.
Is Karen one?
She'll get in. She'll get in a minute. Baby, you want some rolls? What you mean, no? Give me that plate right there. I'm going to give you some.
Oh my gosh. Which one did I just try?
I
No,
don't
I
know.
just tried this one.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
We tried all of them then, except maybe that one.
Yeah.
Dude, this is all really good.
Right?
Carlos, this is crazy.
This is really good, man. Really good.
This is really, really good.
Pásala ahí, por favor.
I'm gonna have my quinceañera over here.
Is it good or what, man?
This is really good.
Yeah. Carlos gets down.
What do we got here?
Oh, dude.
¿Cuál es este?
Este es causa crocante. That's it's like a croquette with potato puree with sweet and sour, and it has a tuna ceviche on top with avocado.
Really good. It's a really good bite.
Carlos, they're all your creations?
The top of pork. Great.
Man, this is so good.
Right.
Like octopus croquette.
Oh, okay.
Which one you like so far?
Dude, they're all really good.
That's what I wanted to hear.
I'm not even saying
Did you
because
try this?
yeah, I put it on the plate. I'm not even saying it because we're filming, but they're all equally great. They're all equally great.
Yeah, this stuff's amazing,
Honestly,
man.
That's what I get from the bus.
Yeah, there's
Different bite, what is this? I got some sweet, I got some acid.
I just got to learn how to use chopsticks.
this is so good.
Enjoy, guys.
Thank you so much, Carlos. I think we should just eat. Just eat.
It's good, man.
Oh my
It's,
goodness.
it's all good, man.
So I saw an interview, a Spanish interview.
Mhm.
It was probably a while back. It was around some yachts,
Oh.
and I think the journalist or the guy that was doing the interview asked you about like you coming up and your family, and that was like the first time I ever saw like emotion, like your eyes got teary, like empezaste un poquito, to cry. It was like I want to go back to that and tell me like your story, like your journey growing up in Peru with your parents
Yeah.
and your siblings, how difficult it was, and then coming here. I'm sure it was even more of a challenge because everybody thinks coming over here is super easy. That you work till you die.
Yeah.
So if you could get into that,
Yeah. So what you're talking about was like I was telling him earlier. I was 31 years illegal in the country. 31 years. So for 31 years, I couldn't return to Peru. And I got my green card nearly 3 years back, right? So I started going back to Peru. And these people that you're talking about, they came from Peru to interview me here.
Oh, shit.
wow.
They're my first or second visit over there. They came here to do a story on me. And I took them to the Florida Yachts International. It's called FYI.
Muchas gracias.
Appreciate it.
Gracias. Está bien, bien. Sí, gracias. No. You already have a chicha, right? So Florida Yachts International, FYI, the owner is Ralph Navarro, is one of my biggest supporters since the very beginning of bare knuckle fighting. And I was explaining to we chose to do it there in the yachts, right? And that story, when I got like a little bit emotional, was because we're talking about where everything started, right? So I was 10 years old when my father had left. I think when I was 8 to 9 years old, he had left to America looking for a new life. He couldn't provide anymore over there in Peru.
So he left to help the family.
Yes. So what he had to do was 1 year later, he brings my mom through the border.
Jeez, bro, let me tell you, that's such a sacrifice.
Yeah.
To leave your family behind.
Yes. You understand? So 1 year later, he brings my mom through the Mexican border, and my mom and my 2 younger sisters. So she had to literally cross that border. Now my father's making more money, better money now.
And I'm sure like crossing the border is nothing how they do in the movies. I'm sure it's like
it was
100 times worse.
Yes, yeah, it was serious stuff. And really what my dad was running, because in Peru, he was DEA. He was police. He was the force.
Okay.
But things happened over there. They were going to do some shutdowns, and they told him, hey, look, man, you do this, you're going to go and your family going to go with you. So they kind of gave him a warning, and he said, okay, so I have no more life here. I have to take off. So what does an illegal, DA experienced man do to help his family in America with no papers and no English?
So you have nothing.
You have to go and use your knowledge the other way around.
Yeah.
That's what he did.
Oh,
So he sacrificed his freedom to bring us.
man.
Jeez. So now, your mom and your sisters are here.
So 1 year later, my mom crosses over the border with my 2 sisters. 1 year later, he sends for me. And now I'm living, with my aunts, and I'm studying for like 6 months.
Louis, you said you were 10 years old?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was studying a different identity. So my name was Miguel something. So he made more money now. So he brought me with what's called a photo switch passport, a different identity. My life's a movie, bro.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
This is what we're
I'm
looking
gonna
for.
write the
This is
book,
incredible,
you know?
man.
So he paid like over 10K, you know, from what I remember, for me to study somebody else's identity, which is a Mexican American. So I had to learn the history of America and the history of Mexico. And I did like 6 months of studying and all this to cross over the bridge. So I came by what was called by the big door. I didn't come through the border like my mom did. I came in a plane. And I landed. They didn't ask me one question, but I just went right through. But I was prepared.
Yeah.
Now, mind you, I'm only 10 years old. So what does that mean?
That's a lot of pressure, bro.
Being 10 years old, none of this is my choice. I'm following what my father is telling me to do.
Lo que hice, papi.
Okay. So little did I know that the truth would be what would legalize me later on. Because there was a pardon. Since I'm a 10-year-old child that had nothing to do with his decisions, then I get a pardon from America and I get my green card.
Yeah.
You think it was that easy? It wasn't. So I got married. I was married with an American woman, American Cuban. I have a son that's 21 years old now that's in the army. And even when I was married, they changed the law. I got married in 3 months before I got married. They changed the law about citizenships and being legalized. Bush changed this law where people were coming in and just getting married and getting papers. So, okay, if you come in illegally to the country, you remain illegal. Mind you, I got married because that was the mother of my son.
Right.
But I said, okay, I'm going to get my papers too. It didn't happen.
Oh,
So
damn.
I got denied one case. Then I go to do the case of what I just explained to you, how I came into the country, because my attorney tells me, you know, it's not your fault. You were a child. You can get a pardon for this. So now I'm in like a 2-year case going back and forth with immigration. And this time I can fight. I have a work permit, you know? And I get this lady as an immigration officer. And she literally looked up for nothing, bro. She literally looks like she just crossed the border yesterday. Okay? I think she's like Mexican American or something like that. I don't know. And they're questioning me, right? They're questioning me about the case and this, and they're like trying to put like, no, but you know, like if I was part of the whole plan, like, I was 10 years old.
Right.
Like if I
I don't even,
right.
they asked me, what's the passport? And, you know, like, I'm like, I don't know what the passport is. Like, this is a passport that they keep using over and over again. Like, we pay for it. My parents pay for it. My father paid for it. You know, it was because it's a photo switch. You send it back. They keep using it until whatever happens. You know, why would I save something illegal? We're talking about 20-something years later.
Yeah.
You know, but that was the proof that I needed. So because I didn't have the passport, they denied me once again.
You're kidding me.
Yeah. So then I'm like, all right. So then people, you know, the question has always came, why you didn't go to UC? Why you didn't go to UC? Because I fought a lot of big names, man. I beat a lot of big names that were in the UC. I beat people that lost against me and went to UFC after.
Yeah, dude.
After losing to me.
Yeah.
You know? And people ask me, like, the reason why I didn't go to UFC, the number one reason is because I didn't believe there was a reality that I can go to UFC because I was illegal. Once you put something in your head, you make your own block. It's like when I said I'm going to be a champion, I became a champion because I put it in my head, I'm going to be a champion. So when I put it in my head that I couldn't be a UFC fighter,
That's
I
what
never
happened.
became a UFC fighter.
So was that in your head when you went to WSOF?
Well, okay, in this time, I'm in one of the cases.
Yeah.
When I fought for WSOF, I wouldn't go and fight for a big organization if I didn't have a work permit.
Yeah.
Because I couldn't.
That makes sense. So
I was always fighting in local shows.
You had to, right.
You know what I'm saying? So I was fighting in local shows. That's why I have so many titles. I have 4 different titles in 4 different organizations.
Yeah.
3 of them are in Florida. One of them was in Michigan.
Yeah.
You know how I got there? I didn't have papers for that one either. I had to rent a car with my friend. We went in a group
You guys
and we
drove.
drove over there. I took the belt and came back.
Damn, dude.
No way.
And
This is part of my life. So when people go and they do their license, you pay what, like $40-something bucks to renew your license?
Dude, I don't
It's
even
something
know.
around
there.
It's been so long.
For me, I had to pay first $2,500 for my work permit.
Yeah.
To then wait and receive, to then go and get my
Get your
So
driver's license.
would you-
So sometimes I have a car, and I can't drive no more.
Was your work permit for fighting or?
The work permit was a work permit.
Okay.
The work permit was like when I opened the cases. When I got married, I had a case. So while you're in process, they give you a work permit.
Okay.
When I opened the case about the way that I came into the country, it was a process. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get into more details of how everything ended.
Right.
That's how it started. That's how it went. And those are the reasons why a lot of this stuff was like, I was very pressured in my head and why I didn't go to certain places. So to me, it was like, yeah, can I go to UFC? Physically, I can fight with these guys. But mentally, I didn't think it was a possible,
man, that's,
so it never became possible.
Dude, that's a bummer too. Because for everyone watching, like, that doesn't know, dude, you fought Masvidal, Gaethje, oh God, what's the guy's name, man? Brookins, Escudero, guys that won Ultimate Fighter. Like, when I looked at your match history, I was like, how do I not know about this guy's MMA career? Like, dude, you fought the who's who of like all the people that are anybody now.
Like you said, you fought the everybody's.
So it makes a lot of sense that would be what held you back, because there was no other reason you shouldn't have been in the UFC.
When we were in MMA Masters, I was the very first fighter to bring a title.
Yeah.
I was the guy, right? Everybody came afterwards, like the Amanda Nunes, Josh Saman, you name it. As the Overeem, everybody came around for a while. And everybody looked at me like the big brother, even though I was a smaller guy. And I was fighting at 155, but most of my sparring partners were at 170s. Bebe Monstro, Frank the Tank. These are all guys that walk around 200 and something pounds.
Yeah.
And we're sparring like 100, and I had the good thing that if I could say that I had any gift, my only gift is that I had power that, people respect me, especially in sparring.
You did knock out Jay-Z.
Jay-Z Cavalcante was I was the one to give him the first finish in his career, 8-year career.
Well, we had him on.
Mm-hmm.
We had him on.
Super nice guy.
Yeah, he mentioned it. He's like, Louis ruined me, man.
He goes, yeah, he retired me.
Is that
Nah, he didn't.
I'm kidding.
Jay-Z too cool, man. He wouldn't hate on nobody.
Yeah. Well, yeah, man. That was the ups and downs. As I mentioned earlier, in MMA, there was like, I would never lost more than 2 fights in a row. Like I win, lose, and win. Like I'll lose one in between there. And this was all due to lack of knowledge, lack of experience. My team was good team, but you gotta think about it like this too, right? I came into the MMA world at the same time that my coaches came into the MMA world. So one was a jiu-jitsu trainer, jiu-jitsu world champion, and judo black belt, jiu-jitsu black belt. And the other one was capoeira master, only capoeira. Okay, he was the one doing my mid-work and my striking coach. So I kind of put them together, right? And they create MMA masters, right?
Kind of made your own style
what's
there.
What's going on here is that them as trainers are just starting to become MMA trainers. And me as a fighter, I'm just starting to become an MMA fighter. So we all three of us
are establishing each other.
Yes. So what does that mean? There's a lot of mistakes to be made.
Oh, 100%.
So what was your first background?
Boxing in California.
Boxing. Yeah, that makes sense.
In California,
in California.
For 3 years.
Where were you training at over there?
San Bernardino, city of Chino. I was in Chino boxing gym. And I got there by mistake too. My older brother Pedro, he's a vet, Army vet. Big. My brother has my mom's side of the family's genes. My mom's side of the family is Angola, Africa. Yeah. Like her mom is Spaniard. The great grandfather is from Angola, Africa. Big dude, And Pedro, my brother Pedro, has that. I was like a skinny, scrawny kid. I had my dad's side of the family. Like the small, the Spaniard, the Inga. Even a little Japanese back there somewhere, right? So my father tells my older brother that's like at 14 years old, he looks like a damn bodybuilder, never touched weights. He just and he tells him, we're gonna go to the boxing gym. And I was a little scrawny kid, and I was like, can I go with you guys? So I went with them. Pedro stayed there for about a month or 2 months. I stayed there for 3 years. It wasn't for him. Pedro liked guns. And it shows later he becomes an Army vet. He did great. He's done very well for himself.
Nice.
And I was definitely the fighter. So I did boxing for 3 years. That was the beginning. My father goes to prison now. Because my father brought me. A year later, he brings Pedro. A year later, he brings my brother Rich. No, 2 years later, he brings my brother Richard. And before he can bring my brother Paco, he goes to prison.
Damn.
You already know why.
Did Paco make it?
Paco ended up coming later because my mom sold her house in Peru to bring him. Oh. She needed the help. Apart from wanting to have her son, Paco was the older one out of all of us. Paco was like a father figure to all of us.
That's a good brother because he was the last one to come.
He was the father figure. He could have moved out of the house long ago, and he didn't because he was there being the father and helping my mom with everything. I tell you, we went from living like in a nice big house in California. I'm talking about like a nice neighborhood, like living good because my father was doing his thing, to going to prison. My mom comes to Miami, no papers, no family, no English. What does she know how to do? Cook and clean. That's what she did. Raising 6 kids by herself. We all lived in a 1-bedroom apartment for like 10 years.
Damn. So you used to having no
That's tough,
space, man. That's that is tough.
You know what I mean? So the story is crazy.
Nah, I mean, dude, a lot of the best fighters come from a crazy story, man. That's why we like talking to you guys. So like when you came here, you were still boxing?
No, so I came here, and we're talking about 27 years back.
Yeah.
27 years back, man. You want some of this?
No, this one.
This one? This is 27 years really back. The gang activity in Miami was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It was crazy. You know what I mean? Like, it was like every corner, the Syndicates, Disciples, the Hialeah boys.
Take another one. It's going to embarrass me on camera.
Baby, you want some? Give me the plate.
Ken, you want to take the last one?
Give me a plate, T.
Querete.
And give the octopus. She likes octopus. You want one of this ones right here? Look. Come here.
Karen, look, there's some here too.
I'll take this. They're really good.
Karen, you want this one? Yeah, I didn't use a fork.
Oh,
sorry.
So in this time, we just got to Miami. Like I told my one single mom. And what am I looking for? I'm looking for a boxing gym. I was mad at the world. I was mad, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I was like fighting shows already, I was building my amateur record. I was having fun. And my father now goes to prison, so I'm mad at the world. And you're a kid, right? So you don't know any better. Who you pointing the finger at? You're pointing the finger at the government, the police that took my father.
Oh, yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? You don't know any better. So I was like always against, that. And I was like, no, I'm going to do all day, But at heart, I'm not a bad person. And I don't like injustice. So I come from boxing. Boxing is a one-on-one sport. Come to Miami, and then this, we're going to jump you, and then the gang here and the gang over there. To me, it was cowardice. I never respected it. I never liked it. So I always say in every interview, all of those scars, all of those teeth, all of them came before bare knuckle, before MMA. Came from here, from Miami.
Yeah, dude, you really do got like those Bruce Lee knuckles, man.
Yeah, I literally fought all the time. Like all the time. And it's not because I was the baddest. No, because there were so many gangs that if you didn't have a group, you're fighting, you walk a little bit that way, you're fighting there. You walk a little bit that way, you're fighting there.
Where were you in South Florida, in Miami?
Right,
or
Miami Beach or 71st Street. Back
Holy
then,
crap.
we're talking about Savage Posse, Syndicates. You ever heard of Levo Martinez? That's like my boy, my brother now.
Oh,
today.
shit.
He's preachers now,
Yeah.
Back then, he was the gang, the leader of one of the biggest gangs. Talking about like everything loaded, like,
jeez,
there's a documentary on it. So in that time, he was older than me, So I tried to look for a boxing gym. For me to get to a boxing gym, I had to get out of the Miami Beach, get more into Northwest. My mom wasn't having that. It was like 3 buses to begin with, 3 buses to get there. So what happened? No boxing gym. I started fighting more in the street. So then I was mad. I was mad at the world. So I had a very bad temper. So if you mess with me, what's worse is that I'm small. I'm not a big guy.
Right. So you got more to prove.
So I was like skinny, small, short, 5'8", but like skinny, And not only did I get into fights because I had a short temper and I didn't take nothing from nobody. If I saw somebody getting jumped, I got into it without even knowing them. If I saw somebody taking advantage of somebody, I got into it because I didn't like injustice. one of my best friends, one of my sponsors, is somebody that I defended when we were in high school. We weren't even friends in high school like that. We knew each other, like, but I didn't even know that. I don't even want to mention his name anymore. I've mentioned so many interviews, but I caught him one day down the block getting jumped by 4 guys, about to get robbed for his chain. And I'm like, what's up, man? What's going on? And I'm going to want to take my chain. Like, all right, so let's take it then. And then both of us fought 4 guys and they didn't rob him. Bro, years later, when I got my first MMA title, I come from Michigan and I go to a club here in South Beach.
Yeah.
And the dude is in the VIP right next to me. and he's like, hey, what's up, brother? Okay, I recognize his, the face. Hey, what's up, Papa? And he's like all drunk, we're drinking. Like, he's like talking to me like, you remember, do you? And but what? And like, man, they were gonna rob me for a chain and you got it and you helped me. And we both fought all 4 of them.
That's awesome.
I'm like, oh, damn. Like, but I've done that so many times, I don't remember. Well, since that day, he became my sponsor. He's still my sponsor today. Because he did good in life. So the good karma that I threw out came back. And it's happened in various occasions, right? But yeah, that was that, man. I tried to get into boxing, but I couldn't. It was too far. There was too much gang activity going around. My mom was like nervous, she's a single mom, man, And I was fighting so much that I got tired of giving her a headache.
Yeah.
And then I saw Rafael Asuncion. Rafael Asuncion was a UFC fighter. He has this tattoo on the side right here.
Oh, nice.
We were in the same capoeira group. Rafael Asuncion, Junior Asuncion, Freddie Asuncion were all MMA fighters. We were all in the same capoeira group here, but they moved to Atlanta like 5-6 years before I started anything. And they were doing jiu-jitsu and whatnot and started getting into fighting. And once Rafael Asuncion fighting, I'm like, oh, hold up a second, man. Like, I can do this shit legally.
Yeah.
And that's when I started to change and going into like leaving the street alone and going into training MMA. And I went head first in MMA. No sparring partners, no conditioning trainer, no wrestling trainers, just capoeira, Mestre Cesar, doing capoeira. I was in capoeira. Mestre Cesar capoeira, and jiu-jitsu with my first sensei. It wasn't Sensei Daniel Valverde. It was George, I forgot his name, but I don't remember. So I trained with them for 6 months, and I became a blue belt in 6 months. And people didn't know that I speak Portuguese in that gym.
Talking shit?
No, you cut people
didn't know. I came from capoeira. I didn't speak it so fluent, but I could understand everything. I could speak good, but not like now I can speak fluent. People think I'm Brazilian, So I was in this gym for 6 months, and there's a guy, the head guy in this gym is a brown belt. He's been in the gym for like years training jiu-jitsu, and he hasn't done his first pro fight because he was a brown belt about to become a black belt, and the sensei said until he becomes a black belt, he goes into the MMA. So when his fight was getting put together for this show called ACB, ACB.
Yeah, ACB.
Something.
Yeah.
It was a America Top Team own show.
Right.
All right. They were negotiating for him, and I want to fight in there too. They laughed at me. They thought I was crazy because I just became a blue belt the other day, And I said, yeah. And so then they were talking in Portuguese, and then I know I was understanding everything.
You were talking smack?
Yeah, they were talking. They were just talking like, this guy's delusional. This guy's crazy. He's been here for 6 months. He just became a blue belt.
Which is crazy.
Rick, the guy's name was Rick. Rick's been here for I don't know how many years. He's a brown belt. He's about to become a black belt. He's going to get killed. That's what they're saying, So, okay, but we go. This guy never debuted that day. Something happened. I don't know. He got injured. I don't remember. And I go and I do my first MMA fight. A minute 23-second knockout win.
You took his spot?
No, it was a different weight class. But he ended up not fighting in that card. So a minute 23 seconds later, I knocked this dude out.
There you go. The
guy was 3-0. I was 0-0. Like I told you, no jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu 6 months. No wrestling background, no conditioning training.
And that
we're with a capoeira master.
and knocked this guy out.
That was pro?
Boom. That was my first pro. No amateur fight.
Yeah, there was no amateur in Florida, right? Yeah, right. Yeah, dude, people don't understand.
No, and then what's the beauty of it? The whole icing on the cake. I used to walk around 165, 166. The fight was at 170, man. It's not my weight class, bro. The dude's coming down from like 200.
Yeah.
Right. A big dude.
Yeah.
Knocked him out.
That's crazy.
Power.
That was a start.
But that's awesome, man. A lot of people don't realize that too. Like, nowadays, man, you get your blue belt and your coach is like, hey, want to fight? But yeah, back then you were like, Mm-hmm.
It was more respect to the martial art, right? It was more like, oh, respect because back then there was more martial art. Today
Right.
it's a little more saturated.
Well, it's just MMA now.
Out of this now too.
Like I tell him all the time, dude, like for me, the worst time in MMA, but it's great now. But when Rory McDonald came out and they were pushing him as like the new wave, like he's never trained a single martial art in his life. He just trained MMA. I'm like, that's boring, man. What? Like you're telling me this guy's not an expert in jiu-jitsu. He's not an expert in kickboxing. Like that's corny, but here we are, man. MMA is its own thing now. Like takes a little from everything, but it's not an expert in anything. But that's cool.
What was that, man? That story. Went to MMA. I fought, as you mentioned, the who's, man. I fought everybody. Because in this time, I don't want to say ego, but yeah, ego was a big part. But we had a thing in the gym, right? We had an understanding. Mr. Cesar and I had an understanding. We did it like this. Like I was the captain of the gym. So I told Master, in this time, and even today, a lot of fighters want to come and fight just for the sake of being called a UFC fighter.
Yep.
They literally will do everything in their life and everything in their power just to be called a UFC fighter. The mentality is not, I want to be a world champion. The mentality is, I want to be a UFC fighter. I want to be a bare knuckle fighter. The mentality is not, I want to get in, I want to be the champion of the bare knuckle fighter championship. That's not it.
You have a good point, yeah.
So even back then and today, people do that. So I told Master, look, there's a lot of people coming over here because they just want to do that. And I told them, I'm going to push them to the point they either quit and get the fuck out because we don't want weaklings, or they get strong enough to push back. And Mr. Cesar was like, okay. Bro, I was an asshole, man. I'm not going to lie. I was a real dick. And that, 100% I admit that. I was younger. I was crazy. But I was a real dick. I was a real asshole. I really pushed buttons, you know? There was this one guy, and now he's a bodyguard.
You retired him too.
I made his life impossible, man. I'm not going to push his name anymore because he's a very like high-end bodyguard now. His big company's doing very well. He's a good friend of mine. I just want to put him out. No, thank you, but I just want to put him out there like that.
Nah, that's all you do.
But Karen, there was a time that we were in downtown Miami where MMA Masters was, and he became a roommate, right? I'm a neat freak. This dude is nasty, you know? So we have a 2-bedroom apartment, you know, up top in downtown. And his dirtiness and dirty clothes and garbage would, like, his bedroom or his bathroom, my bedroom or my bathroom, right? Kitchen in between, living room, right? His nastiness will come out of the room. Like, I'm like, bro.
Even his clothes in the living room and stuff?
I'm like the big brother, even though he was bigger, you know. In the gym, I whooped him. Like, I beat this man's ass, man. It was abusive what I did to this guy, right? It was really abusive. That's what I'm, bro. Keep your garbage in there. In your room and in your bathroom, fine, close the door. If it doesn't come out, it's none of my business. In the kitchen, forget about it. If you're not going to clean the kitchen, don't cook.
Right.
I was a real dick, right? Okay.
I mean, that's reasonable.
You're not wrong, though.
No, I'll tell you what happened later. This guy, I beat him so bad. Like, so bad, right? Like, that Master Cesar, like, you know, you want to show off, sometimes people are there, like, probably girls are showing up, and Master Cesar will tell him, you spawn with Baboon. And he'll go to Master Cesar and be like, he's too excited right now. You know, there's people watching. He didn't want to spawn him. Right? Okay. But I beat him so bad that the guy went 6-0, man. He did a Meia Lua kick that I've been doing capoeira for years. He never trained capoeira. We trained that specific kick in our gym, but he never trained capoeira. I did capoeira for years, and I never did that kick in a fight in MMA.
And he knocked somebody out.
And he knocked somebody out with it, bro. Okay, that's the confidence that I built in that man by pushing him the way, because when I pushed him so much that he started pushing me back. He started to push me back. Because before he was scared, everything, but he started to push me back, man. He went 6-0. And I was in his corner, right? So he would tell me, like, no, man, because, you know, it's the way that I spar with you. And then when I go into this guys are easy.
Wow.
That's the way that he.
That's a compliment.
Yeah, it doesn't sound like you're a dick at all.
And there, years pass, and he thanks me for the way that I treated him in the apartment. He says, man, I didn't understand, but now I do, because now, like, the girls that I'm with, they see my house so clean and everything and organized. And it's like, thank you. He thanks me for it. When before I was a headache. It's fun stories, you know.
No, that's good stuff, man. Some people need that.
Yes. You know,
Like,
you don't know you need it until you do.
Yeah.
So after your really decorative MMA career, like towards the end, were you already like mentally checked out? Were you tired of the MMA scene?
I was tired
because it's like a 2-part question. It's like towards the end, you're just like not there anymore mentally.
Yeah.
And then how did bare knuckle become a thing for you?
Okay. So in this time, as I mentioned earlier, I had never lost more than 2 fights in a row. I lost the 3rd fight. So I lose this 3rd fight. And this same time, I was engaged. And I'm having this up and down relationship with this person. My son was in this whole entire time of me fighting in MMA. A lot of those fights, I don't want to make an excuse, but a lot of those fights were lost mentally, not physically. Physically, man, I was like a robot. I trained like nobody. I was first in the gym, last to go to the end. I was that guy, you know? So physically, I would lose here. And it was due to my ex-wife utilizing my son as a weapon just to hurt me. You know, like literally.
Can I take a wild guess? Latina?
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
The Cuban, yes.
I take offense to this.
So she literally tried to use us as a weapon. She didn't care how much she was hurting him, as long as she would hurt me.
That's the one. That's the one person that hurts the most.
Exactly. And it was always right before a fight. Right before a fight, you show up in the gym, screaming, doing things. Right before a fight, something happened. You know? And anyways, time passed, and I was going through this back and forth with my son again. And there was a time where, my son had never failed I never failed. I was a bad kid. I never failed one school grade, right? At this point, my son had failed 5th grade, right? So I'm hearing how she's moving around everywhere, up and down with the kid, not giving him any, just stability. I didn't do nothing special. All I did was give him stability and peace of mind. That's all I did, okay? Because the kid's bright himself. Well, I grabbed the kid and I told her, look, let me just, take him for a year and get yourself together. So I took him for a year, graduates the missing year that he messed up, the 5th grade. He passes with mathematical awards, perfect attendance. You know what I mean? Like, the kid was a good kid. He just needed structure.
Right.
Boom. What does she do? She comes back to take him again. And that was the game. Jeez. Right? And everything was about the income tax. I was like, you want to collect income tax? Go ahead and collect it. Just leave him alone. But she can't do that because in the back of her head, it's like, no, I have to have him to make sure that he doesn't come. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It was all that.
Like,
man,
do your income tax. Just leave the kid alone.
Una tóxica.
So, yeah, it was the back and forth, the push and pull. But now Vince, my son's name is Vince, now he's 15 years old now.
And he sees what's going on.
Now he's starting to see, now he's about to turn 15. And I was in New Mexico. I left Miami for a while. So I go to New Mexico for like 8 months. I was training at Justin Wink's camp.
Oh, all right.
Cool.
That's why I met Diego Sanchez, Holly Holm, almost everybody. I was training with them. That's how I got the contract to fight in Russia for ACA. And finally, I got one day, I get my work permit that I've gotten like 3 times. And this time, my work permit says advanced parole. And I'm like, and I showed it to my attorney. I'm like, ooh, why does it say advanced parole about me? What does that mean? He's like, oh, that means that's your permission to come back into the country. Mind you, I came in illegally. So
right.
If I come in legal, everything changes. So I told him, I got a fight in Russia offer. And he's like, he sat me down. I'm going to warn you, because I have to warn you. It says advanced parole. This means you can come back into the country. But if the immigration officer that receives you at the gate decides to say no, he has the right to refuse.
Get out of here. That one person will make that much.
So he was like, telling me not to take the chance. Now that I'm a fighter, man. I take chances. I have no other choice. What else am I gonna do?
Right.
So at this point, I'm like, okay, if I have to go, I have to go. The only reason I was here is for my son, but I don't have control of my son. So if I'm gonna be a person that can't make money legally, then what can I do for my son? So I was already starting to decide, okay, I'll go to Peru if I have to and go straight and fight and make my money and do what I had to do to take care of my son. So I had to sign a paper, even being my friend, because it's explained to me that, hey, and I traveled to Russia to fight, bro, and I took one of my belts that I never even won over there. And I came back from Russia with my belt, and it was no problem. They recognized me.
That was a smart move, though. Yeah. I know why you did it.
If people recognize me, they're like, oh, Palomino. And I'm like, yeah, right. But they hold me in the box for like 2 hours. I was like, immigration for
yo, listen, I'm a champion.
But they let me slide. Boom, legal entry.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You know what I mean? Which I did nothing wrong, man. I'm supposed to get that. So anyway, going back to where were we?
Jackson Wink.
So Vince doesn't want to live with his mom. So he's like, that, blah, 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 He's getting a little older now. So no, I already left. I'm going to come back for you. So I came back 8 months later. And I come back. I already had a whole team going on over there. I had a new contract. I'm like, so I came back. I got a new apartment, blah, blah. And the thing with the ex is not happening, right? I'm going in the back and forth again, blah, blah, blah.
Because she knows how much money you're making now.
Yeah, but
is she trying to come back into your life, or she's just trying to take?
No, so this is not the mom. This is the one that I was engaged with.
Oh boy.
And she had a son. Special needs son, right? And I was like the father to that boy for 3 years, nearly 4.
Right. You got attached.
All good, yeah. And it came to the point where we're having issues. And now Vince, by choice, because mom does a great job at the guilt trip. So now it's not no more the control. Now it's the guilt trip control.
Yeah.
And he falls for it because it's income tax time. Takes him again. And I'm like, I just got back over here, man.
And the sacrifice, man. Jackson Wink is one of the greatest camps.
Yes, I sacrifice. So I come back over here. I'm going through that with my son. I'm in a 3-fight losing streak, as you know, everything that's going on. I'm separating from the ex. But you know what I did? I'm not stupid with my money. Like, I know how to manage more because I've been living out of fighting for a long time. You don't know when you're going to make money. You don't know how much you're going to make. You don't know. So you got to know how to budget yourself out. So I budget myself out. So I had like 3 months paid off the apartment. But she's a single mother with a kid. I put myself in a gym, in a ghetto-ass gym, to live in a gym while I'm separating from this woman so she can have the apartment with her kid. I exited the apartment. You figure yourself out after this time is home. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to go. I could live.
Right.
You
right,
leave.
yeah.
So my apartment, my name, I'm paying. No, I'm not going to do that to a single mother. You know what I mean? So I left.
Did it the manly way.
Yeah. So I left. And this is in the time that I meet my now wife. Like, we literally just met. And she's going through a divorce.
Oh, shit.
And you don't want to hear none of that story, brother. Because that story is pretty ugly.
Cameron, we got to hear that story.
That story has a really ugly side itself. So she's getting into separation. I'm getting separation. We just met. Like, I was working in the UFC gym. We literally, like, I never go to Kendall. I grew up in the beach. I never go to Kendall.
You're not missing out on Kendall.
No, I went to Kendall. I go to the UFC gym that just opened. And mind you, right, my brother Rick Lamas was talking about opening a UFC gym here in Florida after the one that he opened over there in Chicago. So I said, you know what, let me go to the UFC gym that just opened over here so I can see how things work. So I literally went over there like undercover, because I used to train in like private clientele.
Yeah.
I didn't really need to work for the gym, So I go over there and I put myself as a coach at 6 a.m. in the morning. My wife today, in that time, is a horse training instructor, right? And she doesn't go to the gym at that time. She goes to the gym in the evening after work. My last name is Palomino, right? Her favorite horse color is Palomino. So when she
So
saw
it's
my
meant to
name
be.
on the schedule, she came to that class for the first time we met like that.
No way. So
We literally just
the
met
last-
like that because of my last name. And from then on, now I'm in the gym, right?
was that the second you guys met? You're like, this is gonna happen.
It was it because I'll tell you this. Look at all the little signals. My mom has been telling me since I was 15 years old. My mom had a godmother that was Japanese in Peru. You know, we have Japanese people in Peru. And she's seen the culture, how they are and how the women treat the men. My mom's been telling me since I was like 14, 15 years old, cásate con una japonesa. Get married with a Japanese. I'm like, Mom, where the fuck? Where am I
In Miami.
in Miami, you know? Where am I going to find one, you know? So I never even paid attention to it. I never even remembered until my sister reminded me.
She found you.
All right. My mom has the mom look, right? Where she does this. She looks at you from the feet to the, from your toes to your head. I brought only my son's mother, one ex, and the one that I was engaged with. 3. She literally did this shit.
Snubbed them.
Like that. Whoa. It was ugly, bro. Never accepted anybody. I've never had any ex come to the house.
She knew.
Yeah. Okay, mom knows. Okay. So then I bring her for the first time to my mom's. My mom does the same thing as always, right? She's like, she looks at me. She don't even talk like this. She looks at me. She's like, preñala. You know what that means?
Oh, I know.
Get her pregnant.
Oh my God. Of course you knew what that meant.
And I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what? I'm like, I accepted it immediately. Everybody loved her. Like, like
that's like one of those memes online, man.
Perfect.
Wow, man.
It was perfect.
Nice.
Bro. So to go back to the original question, that's how do I go from MMA to bare knuckle? I'm in the lowest of the lows, mentally, emotionally. I meet this person, and now I go on a 5-year winning streak. Tell me that's coincidence.
Yeah, I mean, dude, I wanted to attribute it to you being like more into boxing, but that's a crazy story.
How much is it like on the real world, like everything that you were going through, and no matter how much you train, right? How much does this impact your training? And when it comes to winning a fight, it makes
all of the difference.
So you could be so well skilled.
That was the exact example of, I don't want to say only skilled, well prepared.
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the most highly skilled, but I was very well prepared. Like when I was in a tournament in Bellator, the very first tournament was $175,000 to the winner of that tournament. And I lost against a guy that I should have never lost. And it was this. You know how they say fighting is 80% mental?
Yeah, it definitely is.
I ain't lying about that, man. Look, and I've learned, and you learn every day, you learn more and more. This very last fight that I had, I've never been more cleared in my head than I've ever been. Like, even though I did a 5-year winning streak, this is the differences, right? I went on a 5-year winning streak for one because of all of my experience in training, and I'm very dedicated and very disciplined. Now, I have the peace of mind factor I never had at home. I have a real supporter, a real helper, somebody understands me and wants me to win just as much as I want to win.
An actual wife.
That's not cared about, does not care about social media or who's liking her or who thinks she's pretty. No, she only cares about what I think.
That's awesome, man.
So I'm saying like a real 100, look, I'm a giver, man. I've always been a giver.
Yeah.
And God bless me with a giver too. That's what happens.
It's the dream.
Okay. All right. So going back to this, right? I have these two things well balanced now. Okay. But even when I have these two things balanced, I'm still learning. I'm winning all this fight, and then I take a loss. There's a loss right there. When I lost against Trout.
Right.
Okay.
Which, that was a good fight, dude. I mean, he got you with the jab. That was all it was, man. He didn't even want to engage at the end of that fight because he knew he had you on points. It was kind of some BS, but dude, that's what I want to ask you about because you trained at Dino's for a little bit.
Dino, really, in reality, you will see a lot of the video shoots there, but my coach was Tigre.
Yeah.
From Young Tigers Foundation.
Okay.
Dino was my second because when I first started bare knuckle, it was in COVID time and the gym had closed and Tigre was moving. So when I came to Dino, I told Dino, look, Tigre is my coach. I've been training with him I did my last year's 2 years of MMA with Tigre, and I'm going into, and he's been fixing my boxing because he's a boxing coach. And I told him, we need a gym, and his gym was still open, and he opened the doors to me. So as a thank you to Dino, I said, I got the fight for Barrico, the first fight. As a thank you to Dino, I added him to my team because he opened his doors to me, so I opened his door to him. So he was my second, right? Tigre's first,
And then
Dino's
Dino's the
second.
second.
And we did a few fights together. We won the world titles together. But then the clashing of the heads came between these two coaches where they started to like...
What do you do? Do you just take a step back and let them deal with it?
No,
Or-
I had to be the one to make a decision because I'm the one that put them together to begin with. It came to the point where this is the first, this is the second. That means, and I don't know this because in this time, I don't know this because I come from MMA. In boxing, in MMA, you have your corners, you have 3 corners, and everybody's like pretty much, one is wrestling, one is striking, one is jiu-jitsu. So everybody speaks in their time, right? All right. In boxing, you literally have a first and a second, meaning the first goes in the ring with you. The second stays outside.
Oh,
And
man.
they both may talk, but there's a reason why there's a first.
First does all the yelling.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So Dino started being like, because he doesn't want to share, like, right before going in the first fight, Dino's like, how are we going to do this? Like, right before walking in the fight, like, how are we going to do what? Like the corner, and like, well, I didn't know what to say, right? So I go, I don't know, just
Oh
take
my
turns.
God, bro. Talk about friction.
You
Talk
understand?
about friction.
So I'm like, take turns each round. Like, let him go first round, you go next round. Like,
Why is he going first?
You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I didn't even understand what the question even had to come up, right? So whatever. I walk in there, blah, blah. And now he goes in the first round. And then the second round, Dino goes in the second round. And then the third round.
You're getting 2 sets of
in the
advice.
third round, Tigre goes in the third round. And the fourth round, Tigre goes. And the fifth round, like, not having it. He was like, not having it.
Oh my
He just-
gosh, bro.
And then Dino's telling me about what's going on and how he don't want to share the corner with him and this and that. But I don't know any better, right? So I'm thinking Tigre's being stubborn because he's a very stubborn person. Come to find out, first is first and the second is the second, man.
Yeah.
And then this friction continues to happen. So now everything, as far as physically, I'm training hard, I'm well balanced, my discipline, everything's good. Mentally, my home, everything's great. My wife is the best one I've ever had in my life. My life is good at home. So physically and mentally, I'm well balanced. And now this little issue started to mess with my mental because I should not be worried about this.
Oh my God, so
and
unnecessary.
I'm going on a winning streak here
Right.
that I've never been on. So at this point, I'm like,
Oh my goodness. Did that affect?
no, we didn't get.
Okay.
So I had to nip it because what I learned is that you don't let something that is not going well continue because it'll cascade into worse shit if you don't nip it on time.
Right.
And that's what I did in my MMA career too. Mestre Cesar, amazing. Man, we all started together. Sensei Daniel, Jiu-Jitsu, Judo. Mestre Cesar, the striking. We didn't have no wrestling background, no wrestling base. With my style of fighting, power, heart, if I trained Jiu-Jitsu for like 10, 12 years, I'm a certified black belt. I'm very good at Jiu-Jitsu, bro. You know what I mean? I just never utilized it
Right.
because I wanted to knock you out.
Yep.
But if I had that takedown defense, wrestling,
you would have been able to stay on the feet.
a multi-millionaire right now.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So I didn't make the changes on time. I went to Justin Wick a little too late. Okay, so fast forward back to this. I have my mind right, my body right, and we're moving forward. And I nipped it. I said, Dino, look, I want to thank you for everything, but this is my first. I started with him, and I'm going to continue with him. At the same time that I nipped a problem, I created a second problem that I didn't know was coming.
Oh my goodness.
So now I'm dealing with a one-man army. So now I have only one coach in the corner. Now I have a conditioning trainer. Emily Puree is my conditioning trainer for like over 7 years now. Amazing. I still use him today. Like he's the man when it comes to conditioning. This man turned me from a fighter into an athlete. Big difference. Okay. So now the one-man army, when we go to the Trout fight, so that's what we're trying to get at. The first loss. This is not excuses. This is facts.
What was
It's a
going on?
simple
What was
fact.
going on behind the scenes?
This is what happened. Okay. At this time, I attract a lot of people. So a lot of people are coming to the gym. The small Young Tigers Foundation is getting filled. Everybody wants to train with us. One of these guys is Gallo. Okay.
Oh, that shows up there.
Yes. Now, mind you, before Gallo came into the gym, his old trainer, I think his name is Ryan, that dude had it in for me. And nothing personal.
Is
He's
that
a coach that wants one of his students to be the
guy?
main goal.
Yeah.
No, nothing personal.
Right.
Great, cool. So Ryan was putting in Gallo's head that he was going to come and take the belt from him. Gallo this time is fighting 155 pounds. Then he had this other guy, Gogo, at 165. Then he had I don't know who else. And he thought that one of his guys was going to be the one to take me out. Okay, so they've been aiming at me, right? All right. Gallo comes in, but he's still in relationships with Ryan. They're still like hanging out, going to the gym together. Like, hold up a second. Are you here or are you there? What's going on over here?
Sabotaging the camp.
Like, I'm not stupid, bro.
is that tall Cubano?
No, he's short, a little fat. Funny looking dude. Anyway, what happened that night at this point is Gallo and I had two little issues in the gym. One day, if you listen to this guy's stories, fact check him. He tells lies that you wouldn't believe. The first time that we had an issue was because exactly what I just told you, right? Where there was something funny where, are you here or are you still with your trainer? Because supposedly you left your trainer. Now you're over here, like, what's going on with you?
Yeah, doing some spy
So
stuff.
one day I was negotiating some managed people, right? And I was managing some fighters. I was trying to get them into a different show. And this guy that's the matchmaker, right? I'm telling him, oh yeah, Gallo's here with us, blah, blah. And oh yeah, well, Gallo was just, I was just with him over there in the other gym with his old coach. How do I look? How do I sound?
Pendejo.
Thank you. I look like an idiot.
Yep.
Because I'm over here saying, oh yeah, he's with us now. And he's like, oh, but he was with his old trainer just earlier this morning.
Oh my goodness.
This is not a lie. This is a fact. Okay. So that same day, I come into the gym and he's there warming up, trying to be all friendly and cool. And this is what I tell him. I'm like, bro, not right now, man. And he's like, and I don't do this because I know myself. If I start doing this and you get stupid, I'm going to smack you. Okay. So I tell him, bro, look, I'm just here to train. I'm just here to do my own thing. And he snapped, he didn't snap. He just like, oh, but talk to me like a man. And I'm like, that's when I turn around. But when I turn around, people already got in between us. Because now I'm going to, So people got in between them, blah, blah. I didn't talk to him for a little while.
But they must have filled his head up with so much BS.
Oh, yes, exactly what's going on. So anyways, time passes. A few weeks pass. I come into the gym and guy has an autistic kid. And I don't know who I've never seen this kid before. I come into the gym. I love kids, bro. Like I love, animals and kids. I love, Just a kid coming to hug me. I'm going to hug the kid back. The kid comes running. I come into the gym. Baboon. He hugs me. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? I have no idea who's kidding me. Like, hey, what's up, man? And then I see him behind him, and he takes that moment to be like, oh, come on, it's my son, bro. He's he's out there. Like, yeah, okay, cool, no problem. And I know, I'm going to give you a hug too. So he wanted to squash it.
Oh, what's up? All right.
But we never talked about
What happened?
the bullshit.
Yeah.
But you know what, man? I like, bro, it's all good. We have a fight coming up, I don't want to deal with that shit anyways. In my own gym. Squashed, left alone. Fast forward, here comes another guy to the gym. This is Pete. Pete fought for us last. Pete had like a little issue with me over some old shit from like 5-6 years ago. Guy was acting like my friend, right? He's acting like my friend. Okay. He comes into the gym. I know Pete. I've met Pete before. But we have pictures together from back in the days, like doing movie scenes and everything.
Yeah.
All right? And he's just walking back and forth because Pete's a little crazy. Pete's old school, no? He's a little crazy. And something was bothering his mind. And he's going back and forth. And he didn't say what's up to me. And everybody said what's up except for him. I'm like, that was weird.
Hey, what's up?
So at one point, my wife is there, And at one point, he's like, Gallo says, like, cool, says bye to me. I'm talking about like 20 minutes ago. He left already. Gallo left. Okay. And he passed by me one more time. Right when, when I'm about to leave now, I finished doing my workout. And I'm like, what's up, bro? And I mean, like, what's up? Not like a problem. Like, what's up? He was like, what's up? I just started,
whoa. He squared up?
He squared up with me. So he squared up with me. And then everybody went, quick. Tigre came in and Tigre's like, Baboon, Palomino. Palomino, ¿qué? What's this guy's, squaring up with me? Like, what's going on? I'm over here. Like, I have no idea what's going on. This dude left 20 minutes earlier. And the entire time, they're both in the same car. What does that mean?
He pumped his head up with a bunch of...
he was juicing him up.
That means that whatever, instead of being a real person, a real teammate, a real friend, and being like, hey, if there's an issue here, let's solve it, let's talk. No. He said, let me step out of here right now and let's see what happens while I wait outside. That's a snake move.
Yeah, big
You're
time.
kidding me. He was outside waiting?
He was outside waiting. That's a snake move. That's a fact. Jeez, bro. That's a fact. You see what I'm saying? You know what I did? That was my last day in the gym. Because the day that I lost my fight, I'm the main event, co-main event, guy. Who should be the number one focus?
Main event?
The title holder.
Yeah.
Main event, co-main event, guy. I don't point the finger and blame Tigre of anything, bro. He did the best that he can with the one-man army he is. I no longer had his second coach.
Tino's out,
Going back to the, you see what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's doing his best. Like, he has a very important fight. He's undefeated too, right? And I'm defending a title. So I'm going to go with the first fight first. Okay. But in this time, I'm upstairs alone.
Yeah, no one to warm up.
What does that mean? Now, mind you, I feel great at my age. But this is an age and you got to go.
Yeah.
Once the agent goes, I'm going. I was cold. I was alone. And by the time I got to go downstairs and got there, look at the fight with Trout.
Yeah, dude.
Round 1, round 2, round 3.
Round 4, you turned on.
I'm dry.
Yep.
Dry. Round 4, look at the fight. You will look in the video.
Yep.
Round 4, the first drop comes down. I turn on. Too little, too late, man.
Yeah.
4 and 5 was too late.
Yeah, I mean, that's like what I said. The guy, he knew that he got you in those first 3 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
So he kind of just started backing off.
I wasn't on.
Because you were awake,
This
man.
is not an excuse.
No.
This is the fact.
It's real life.
I wasn't turned on. I was cold.
So that's when you left and went to boxer gym?
That's when the next day was when this happened with Pete.
Yeah.
Like 2-3 days later is when this happened with Pete. And that was the icing on the cake.
You're like, I'm out. I'm
I
done.
was like, because my wife is right there, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like I told you, my wife came from a separation that wasn't pretty. It wasn't pretty.
Right.
To leave her privacy there, that's what I'm going to tell you. It was not pretty. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not going to go and cause a fight in front of her because she's very sensitive.
Right.
I'm not going to go and get into a street fight and make things worse for her.
You decided to...
So I decided to refrain myself, and I was like, I even told Peter, I thought I knew you. Like, yeah. And what? And then people were like that and just separated everything. And I was like, okay. You know what I did? I said, that's going to solve itself. You know what I did? I stayed quiet because there's nothing better than this. I go, I speak to Boxer Gym. I become a part of Boxer with Mateo, and I have a new team now. Now I have a team. It's
a good team too,
Mateo
man.
took me in. Training, the beauty about training in Boxer Gym is I got to meet David Benavidez, father,
Yeah.
David Benavidez' other coaches. I was training with David Benavidez' father, with the other coaches. I would train with this guy. Like, there's like a group of high-level trainers.
You got to see a FEMO down there.
Feeding me. And to the point where Mateo noticed, because Mateo was the head coach, but Mateo was running a business.
Right.
Mateo started to realize that I come in the gym and I'm putting in work. Everybody wants to train me because I'm working.
Yeah.
So that's how, I didn't ask nothing. David Benavidez' father saw me working in the back so much. He's like, come here, Palomino. And he started working on me. It's so cool.
Look at that.
And then, he put one of his guys to work me like another day, and then his other guy. And so I'm working, and then the other guy was, so everybody started, and Mateo comes
You're just absorbing?
Yeah. But Mateo comes to me, and Mateo tells me, Baboon, you can't just train with everybody either because it's true. It's too much.
Yeah.
It's nice that everybody's helping you, but at the Mateo, you're very busy. you know? And Mateo started thinking about it. Bro, just about a few days later, my crazy ass Russian coach pops up out of nowhere, which is Mateo's old coach, which was Mateo's coach from the Olympic days. A guy has over 400 amateur fights. He's fought like...
He's legit.
All the people that he fought are millionaires today. He had to go to the war. He couldn't go pro.
Oh my God.
You see what I'm saying? So he's a very angry little old man.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what you want to learn from, bro.
You know, he's an amazing coach and very focused, you know? And Mateo comes to me like this about him. He says, Baboon, bro, when I'm telling you that he warned me about him, he literally warned me for like 30 to 40 minutes still, like warning me. You know, he's a little crazy, you know? He's unorthodox, but I think he can take you to that next level.
Louis, sorry to cut you off. You know what I find so interesting? How in the very beginning, when we started speaking, how you had nobody, right? And they just threw you in there and you were just making wins on your own without a team, right? And then now you come to this day and time in your life where, yeah, everybody keeps throwing around the age, which I don't think it really matters because now at this time you have a really good team.
Yes.
And you're coming up with these wins.
Yes.
I think it's working out the way it's supposed to. Yeah.
And the experience, you know? So now Mateo has me with this guy and his name is Coach Maha. And the dude is hardcore. The warnings weren't for nothing. It was serious. But guess what, man? There's a lot of reasons why I left Young Tigers Foundation. It's not just the situation that happened that night, not only because I lost the fight, not only because of what happened with Pete. It's a combination of things. The other things that happened is that for the last 3 years before I left, I felt stagnant. I didn't feel like I was improving anymore.
Yeah, you weren't growing.
Okay, I wasn't growing anymore. And this is what happens when you're in the gym for long enough. Not only the coach, but the training partners start to respect you a little too much.
Yep.
They're respected to a point where they placed you in this comfort zone box. Like, no, so Tigre will have one day is like, where they're like, no, Palomino's older. Or Palomino,
No.
Palomino, you shouldn't be spot with this. Or the guys won't go as hard because they respect the champ. I don't need that shit.
But that hurts you in the long run.
It hurts you in the long run. So you accumulate this level of respect that ends up hurting you. So what I needed to do, I needed to put myself in the uncomfortable zone again.
You need to be the small fish in a big pond again.
Yes, and I did it. I got there. I got a crazy ass coach, a big ass team. And now this dude is like, you're training, like, he don't give a fuck, bro.
Dude,
this coach is like, you gonna die, you gonna die.
Dude, did you keep Mateo there? Because he dipped out. He dipped out for a little bit, and then he came back.
Like I told you, he's running a business.
Yeah.
But bro, it's like, you know, coach trains you like he dies, he dies. Literally.
That's the best.
He don't care what you did yesterday, what you do tomorrow.
Some real Ivan Drago shit.
But that is what sharpened me up and took me to that next level that I needed. What I did with Tigre was great for that time because I was a wild animal, the wild baboon from MMA, and Tigre fixed me and cleaned the boxing. He did great work with me. But I'm landing in a lot of decisions because he doesn't like that very much. I'm the smarter fighter, the better fighter, the higher IQ, but I'm landing in decisions. I don't get touched much, man.
Right. Nah, dude, for doing bare knuckle, your face looked pretty good.
Dude,
All 5 rounds.
I think you said it best. You went from being a fighter to being an athlete.
Thank you. So,
and I personally think you, at that moment where everything was going down at Tiger, you outgrew them.
Yeah, I think so too. But, you know, I'm very humble and I didn't see it and I didn't want to accept it until I needed to make changes because I have a woman that also behind me and like,
a lot of people don't realize too, when you find a gym, like your first gym, there's a sense of loyalty there. Like you really don't want to admit that. You don't want to admit you outgrew your first guy.
That was
bro.
Me with MMA Masters and not leaving when I should have left to keep growing.
Some people never learn that lesson.
I feel like I agree. Like, so at home you have a wife. Like I'm fortunate enough to have the same kind of wife that's not on Instagram looking for, hey, you look good today. You know, not on Facebook buscando things to do. But like the same thing I think is I'm so big about like, if you have a friend or teammates that when you're not there, they're not talking bad about you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's not just even that. Like say you're loyal to a gym, but you kind of you're the big fish in a small pond now, man. You got to find somewhere else, but you're so loyal.
Yeah.
Well,
You don't want to leave those guys.
staying
You don't
there,
wanna-
Right.
yeah.
That's what happened to me with MMA Masters. And when I came to this decision, ask her, man. I cried.
Yeah.
Ask
It's like leaving a family.
Yes. I had to make a decision that it was no longer my place to be in Young Titans Foundation, that I needed to find the next gym, that I needed to find the next team that was going to take me out of the comfort zone to the next level. And I literally cried when I told T that I needed to beef. And he understood me, man. And we have a good relationship today. He understood me,
And that's good too.
you know? And then as far as Pete, I never said a word.
Damn.
He went and stood around Gallo long enough to figure out what the truth is.
So he came
And
back
who's
to
real,
you.
who's not. So it came to the point when they booked the fight against HD. Mind you, HD is supposed to be like his boy, right? And they're all from the same management company.
Who, that's supposed to be Gallo's boy?
HD, Gallo.
I didn't know that.
They used to train together with the same coach.
Wow, okay.
Okay? All right, they sparred together
So
many
that was the
times.
first guy to go try to take you out?
You know what I'm saying? So now, when they booked the fight against myself and HD, Pete's training with Gallo, with Young Titans Foundation and Tigre, right? And they're all talking about the fight. And Pete says, I'm going with Baboon, like saying who's going to win. And Tigre looks at Pete in front of everybody and was like, I'm going with Baboon too.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Gallo ain't like that shit because they're at the gym together.
Yeah.
So then Pete, this is why I respect the kid, right? He's a man. Pete's a man. Because he's like, he tells Tigre, Baboon knows more than all of these guys put together about this bare knuckle game. He has all the titles. He's the GOAT here. He's more experienced. I could learn a lot more from him than from anybody here. Pete was man enough to understand that I did nothing. It was just an old message from a times that I didn't even know of them being together or whatever before my marriage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there was nothing there, you know? But Guy was trying to make it like, trying to instigate a problem that wasn't there.
How do you say that in Spanish? Chismería.
Chimería, una chimosa.
Una chismosa.
You know? And we're into the point where that's very cool that he went and said that in front, he didn't say it behind nobody's back.
Yep.
And Pete reaches, he comes, right? I go to see his fight, his last fight. I was there at the event, a big BKFC event, and Pete had just fought, he won. And he comes from all the way one side where his girl, and I'm all the way on this side in the VIP, and he comes and he's like coming to squash the problem that we had in the gym. And he shakes my hand, and I shake his, and we're talking about whenever you want to come by, we can do some work together. So I opened that door for him because he's showing me that he's humble too.
Right.
And there's a mutual respect here in between men. All I did with Pete, bro, was I invited him to do my conditioning training because I have a way of getting ready for these fights that people don't know about. You know what I'm saying? And because she showed me that side of him, that he's a man, I let him in. Okay? And he thanks me for the last fight that he did, because that last fight that he did, if you notice, man, he was in a war there. He was getting picked.
Conditioning
But I
was on
told him
point.
before the fight, I told him, this dude, you don't have a real heart like you. Maybe a good boxer, longer, very good and technical, but he don't have this. So as long as your cardio's right, you're going to bring the dog out and you're going to take him out. And that's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
When I took him on my runs with my trainer, the first week, it took him like a week to come back for the second run. He was like, those runs were very humbling. Yeah. But you know what, bro? He did it. He kept up with us. When he went over there, he was like so confident in his conditioning that he won that fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude, it's a big part of fighting.
All I did was what I do with anybody that's been around me. I share the knowledge. I try to help you. It only so happens that this idiot Gallo thought that he was in some sort of cloud somewhere where he couldn't be taught anything, when all I did was try to help the dude. Huh?
Dude,
I was trying to guide him.
Well, I mean, I guess we're not going to get Gallo on now.
all right. So the other question I had for you was, so once again, you're decorative. You have people like Gallo calling you out. I feel like in your position where you have You've been the champion in lightweight and welterweight, and now the king of the streets. You have so much to lose, right? And he has nothing to lose, and he has everything to gain. Like, do you even want to? I know you'll take the fight just to beat the shit out of him.
Let's parlay that into what we were talking about before the episode.
Like,
this title specifically, what does this mean to you and the people challenging you that offer you nothing?
Oh, it says it right here, king of the streets.
King of the streets.
That's a great question because I wanna make sure you guys bring this clip out.
What's the equivalent to this title?
All right, so look, this title is like the BMF title for UFC.
You're just a badass.
You're a badass.
King of the streets.
King of the streets, to give it a different type of name, you know? But there was a podcast interview where Guy was loving to get the clip and say where I respond. I'm like, we're talking about him trying to challenge the winner of this belt and this and that. And I'm like, this belt don't mean shit. They came out like that. And when you clip it like that, you don't put the rest of what I said,
Right.
it looks like that. But
Right.
really what I'm saying is before this belt, we didn't even know this belt was in the line until the day before the fight to begin with. So this was a gift that David Feldman put out for us to fight for. I believe that is my credibility, what I've done in the sport, and he understands that I should not be outside of a title fight. But he can't give me a title fight coming out for loss. So I understand that. I understand that. So I guess he figured, let's create like kind of like a BMF belt, because Baboon shouldn't be. That's what I think it is. So if it came out like, oh, this belt to me shit, that's not what I meant. What I meant was when I was talking about Gallo specifically wanted to get this belt because he's coming from, like HD did, from losing to a champion.
Yeah.
He talks about that I'm envious and jealous of his life. And that he gets paid more and this and that. And I'm like, what the fuck am I envious about? That one belt that you never earned?
Right.
When I'm the one that has the wall full of titles?
So
what are you talking about, man?
He got outboxed by
a wrestler. He got outboxed in his hometown by a wrestler.
It was bad.
And now you want to come over here and be like, oh, I'm after the winner of that belt. So then when we were talking about that, I said, this belt don't mean shit. Literally what I mean is, this idiot is trying to fight for a belt that is not a world title.
Right.
My contract, my way of thinking, right, is after I win this fight, which I didn't know there was some belts, I'm thankful for the belts, right? But when I win this fight, I get 3 choices. That's what I asked. There's a separate contract that I signed where we state 3 choices. Number 1 choice is my rematch with Trout for my 165-pound world title.
Right, for the championship.
If I don't get my rematch with Trout for whatever reason, then Tenaglia, that's holding the 155-pound title that I never lost, world title 155, then I get that fight. Now, we have Tenaglia 155, Trout on 165. If I don't get either title, then the third option would be a money fight. Now, is Gallo a money fight?
Probably.
If he's a money fight, to answer your question, bring that motherfucker.
Right, he's done. Give
me that fight because I'll collect that check any day.
He's done so much talking on social media that he's built this.
I assume you want to get that win against Trout, get that loss back.
Yeah, but like I said, right, my number 1 focus, right, is to reclaim my throne as the rightful reigning world champion.
At 155.
The only
just in
world
general.
champion that holds 8 titles in the organization.
Yep.
The only one that's defended 6 times successfully.
Yeah, I mean, dude, how many people defend the title after winning it in there?
You see what I'm saying? That's what I'm asking for. So there was like, no, guy was like, oh, I'm going to, they should do something about this, disrespecting the belt like that. Like, bro, like you're after a belt that doesn't mean anything because you cannot be a world champion.
Right.
How stupid do you look?
Plus, even if they took the belt away from you because you were talking trash
doesn't
or whatever,
mean anything.
You still won it. Like everyone knows who won the belt.
There isn't another belt of it. This is it. It's the one and only.
I don't believe that there's a defending. Like I wouldn't defend the belt. Yeah,
I wouldn't either.
I wouldn't defend it. Look, just for the simple fact that the BMF belt wasn't defended, was it?
Then they
put
maybe
a different one. They put another one. They didn't defend it.
They didn't know. It was just like, that night,
Was
they
it
were 1-1.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What was the first one though? Because I swore that it
wasn't like, oh, we're putting this for defense.
No,
well,
correct.
didn't Masvidal get it and then
Okay, forget about the BMF.
Yeah.
King of Violence belt. Was that ever defended? Because I actually challenged it.
So it was that like
No.
The King of Violence.
Yeah.
Mike Perry's belt. Because I've been asking to fight Mike Perry for 2 years. Was that belt ever defended? No.
Never.
So this
Dude,
belt will not be defended.
Has he even fought again in 2 years?
no, he
He's been
hasn't.
chilling.
Yeah, he's making money. He's home, chilling.
Or, he did fight for the Jake Paul fight and he made a lot of money there. And they are benching him for that one right now.
Is
They come from a loss.
is that the guy you've been talking about, Jake Paul?
Nah. It's a big dude, man. Jake's a big guy. But man, yeah, it comes down to that. What do I want? If in a perfect world, I want either one of my world titles. And if I don't get it, then I want the money fight that we spoke about. And if just so happens to be Gallo for a money fight,
Then he's the next victim.
That's
let's
it.
go. But let's do it like right now. Let's go.
What was the thought process taking the welterweight title from you? Where did that come
Okay,
from?
so let's get back to that. We spoke about earlier of the physical and the mental balance that made me go on a 5-year win streak. And then there was a loss. Think about it. That was the spiritual imbalance of my life. Not going to give you too many details about it. Okay? But there was a spiritual imbalance there.
I gotta check the parking meter. Hold on, I'm listening.
Go ahead. So in this time, I've always had a very, very close relationship with Jesus Christ. I've always had this personal relationship with God. And I kind of deviated a little bit, right? Where I didn't have that communication anymore. Like I wasn't following, right? Even though my wife had just become Christian, I was letting things bother me from the outside.
Right.
And in this time, now I have, the mind and the spirit is well balanced. But if your spiritual life isn't straight, you ain't going anywhere.
Yeah.
And it took a while for me to understand what it was. And I kind of found it, right? And then it doesn't mean to just go to church. That's not what it means, But to give the full belief, to live the life
Yeah, you gotta live it.
of a real follower of Jesus Christ, right? And it's not only just talking about it or going to church, it's living it, like walking like this spiritually. Just the same way that I was walking with my physical training and my mental stability into fights, putting all three together. That's where this win comes from in the last fight. In the last fight, I fight HD, a 14-year younger man. Fast. The guy was fast.
Long.
I'm normally...
Bro, he was long.
He was long. No, I'm normally fast. But you got to think about it like this. I'm normally fast. I'm 155 and I'm a small 155er. So most 155ers are bigger than me, so I'm faster.
Right.
HD's coming from 145. He's taller, longer, lighter.
Fast.
Technically faster.
Yep.
But it wasn't enough to beat me. My experience, my physical preparation, my mental stability, my spiritual balance, everything was together. That's what delivered the win that I got last time. And that's what's going to deliver the next of the wins. And I will retire undefeated from this game from now on. At least 155.
That's what I'm talking about,
100%.
man.
This the other thing, right? 165 is not my weight class, man. The only reason why I went to 165 was to make more money. There was nobody left for me in 155. In 155, the only person that was left was Tony Soto. Tony Soto at that time was like 5-0. But I was managing Tyler Goodjohn, right? Who I beat. And when I managed Tyler Goodjohn, I got him the fight against Tony Soto, which I was trying to get Tyler Goodjohn to go to the title shot. The winner was going to go to the title shot. Tyler Goodjohn whooped Soto, man. I was there. I was present. I was so mad of it that in the ring, I grabbed the microphone and I told Tony, bro, you lost that fight in your hometown. And bro, he just looked down.
Because
He admitted it.
Yeah.
He knows he lost that fight. The fight between Tony Soto and Tyler Goodjohn was gifted to Tony Soto. So that made me not want to give him a fight. And I went up to 165.
Oh,
Because let me go get another belt. What's his name? Elvin Brito.
Yeah.
I beat him in the beginning. And now he got it. Like, nah, let me take it from this guy.
Yeah. Beat him
You know what I
twice
mean?
just to show.
Yes. But 165 is not my weight. Well, I walk around 170, man. I don't get heavier than 175.
Right.
I don't belong in
But
165.
that's definitely a 155er
Yes,
weight.
exactly. I did good. I did my things, and I would love my rematch against Trout at 165. If they were to give that to me, look, even Trout has said that he doesn't want to fight at 165 anymore. He understands. You have to respect. In bare knuckle, you got to respect weight class.
Yeah.
Because there's no gloves here.
No, not at all.
All right. I would go as far as even making it public that if David Feldman, BKFC, was to give me the opportunity to avenge my loss at 165, as we all know, Trout does not want to fight 65 anymore, and it's not my weight class. I would beat him at 165, and that same night when I avenge my loss, I'll put that belt on the canvas and relinquish it right there and then. Go back to 155 and reign supreme there where I belong. I just want that fight to be at 165 where I lost.
Yeah.
Because now the trilogy makes all the sense.
At 155.
At 155,
Yep.
whereas his natural weight class and my natural weight class. There we see who the best is.
Yep.
But I'm not going to give Trout another free ride to a title.
No.
I gave him a free ride to the 165 title. I skipped the line because of his name. And I didn't get the rematch. So now I do all the work at 155 again and give him a title fight?
No. This doesn't work.
If the rematch doesn't happen at 165, I don't care about it.
So, dude, this has been like amazing. It's been awesome. Your story is crazy. Like you're fun to watch in bare knuckle. I just have one last question, Ricky. If you got anything, just interject after I'm done here. But my last thing is, you had a boxing match kind of scheduled at one point, right?
Yes.
I'm seeing BoxRec is showing it. Maybe you still have one tentative. Like, is it still happening?
So I did a boxing debut.
Yeah.
On November before the last fight I had with HD. Against Gabriel Rosado. Gabriel Rosado, for those that don't know,
He's Puerto
Rican and fought for the world title 5 times. Canelo, Triple G, fought the big guys.
Yeah, serious names.
Yes. So he lost on 5, but if you keep giving somebody a title shot,
they got to be
good. It must be good, right?
You know, there's something there. So I didn't even know about it like that. He came in 10 pounds heavy and I whooped him. I asked to fight him on pro record, but he won't take the fight.
Look at that.
Not on pro record. To answer the question is, I'm trying to stay active.
Yeah.
So with the blessing, of course, I always say it. Nothing that I do in fighting goes without passing through David Feldman. With the blessing of BKFC, if I get an opportunity to do a boxing debut, I want to do this. If you don't have a fight for me, then let me fight boxing. I'm not fighting against a competitor. I'm not doing bare knuckle anywhere else. I'm not doing bare knuckle MMA. I'm doing glove boxing. It has nothing to do with bare knuckle. Because the least that you can do for me, I would say, I'm talking about to the company BKFC, the least that can be done for me is, if you don't have a fight for me, let me feed my family. Let me stay active.
And if you win, it's good for the company.
It's not only a money thing. It's inactivity. I said it since day one. My opponents is not the problem here. My problem is inactivity. Fighting once a year, for a man my age, is very hard.
Are they just worried that you might get hurt outside of your contract?
There's a lot of factors to it. You might get hurt, you might lose. That doesn't hurt the brand. Look at the fight with Jake Paul and
Mike Perry.
I haven't seen no fight since then.
No.
So I could understand that. But the thing is, if I don't have a fight, or look, man, think about it like this. I shouldn't be in this conversation. I hold 8 world titles in the conversation, in the organization.
Give you a fight?
So, no, not just give me a fight. Give me a multi-fight deal. Keep me busy.
Yeah, for sure, that too.
Give me 3 fights in 1 year where I can stay focused and busy.
Keep me busy and fill my pockets. Not too much to ask.
And you'll fill them back.
So I'll leave you with this. There's a 2-part question. At this day and age, where do you draw motivation from? And now that you've matured and you've sharpened your tools, what does success mean to you?
Good question. Motivation is a scam.
Let me write this down.
Motivation is a scam, brother. Motivation is very temporary. Okay? You can wake up Monday morning, be like, oh man, that's it. I'm gonna get in shape. I'm gonna lose this next 20 pounds. I'm gonna gain this muscle mass. I'm gonna start my pro career. I'm gonna start my amateur career. Motivation is funny because you start, and then a week later, 2 days later, hours later, or a month later, something happens, deviates you from everything, or guess what? You just woke up a little too sore. You're not gonna push as hard anymore. You heard something, and motivation is always like non-existent anymore when your mind just goes somewhere else. Motivation is nothing in this game. Discipline is everything.
Damn.
Discipline is everything. What's gotten me to this point and what continues to carry me is my discipline. My ability to keep that plan in mind. That's where all these youngsters are failing. All these youngsters right now, you know, they're all in that comfort zone. They're all in that bubble. Guy, for example, that we speak so many times about today, his whole idea is, you know, I'm making all this money and I'm driving this car and I get paid more than him and the streets fucks with me and there's so many distractions that by the time they close you in the cage with me, bro,
Baboon's gonna be released.
Un pedazo jamón. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna eat because
How many guys versus one baboon?
I'm in such good shape. I'm in better shape than I've ever been in my life, and it's due to the balance of my life. You know, my home. Like my wife is also a health freak, and I got this idiot here trying to discredit my hard work and my discipline by saying pads, PEDs, and stuff like that. But no, it takes. You know what's really funny is him and one of his biggest supporters came to me and told me a couple of times because they would see me in Kendall UFC gym, powerlifting like a motherfucker, you know, like hitting it hard by myself. And like, bro, you work hard. And they've told me that plenty of times, those two guys. And now, it's PEDs. Like, no, I do the work that you don't want to do.
Right.
I get up in the morning, I run. Every Sunday morning, I'm doing 7 miles, whether I'm in camp or not. You're getting ready for a fight. I'm maintaining myself, waiting for a fight.
It's ridiculous too, man. People just don't understand. Like you can get really strong without pads, man.
Brother,
you get really conditioned without pads.
Nutrition is a big thing.
Nutrition,
and I'm
rest.
very good at it. I'm very good at nutrition.
What about sleep?
My wife is very good at it. Sleep has been my biggest secret.
Jesus Christ.
In the last 4 years.
Well, dude, it's glorified to sleep 4 hours a night.
I used to overtrain.
Yep.
Listen to your body. Listen to your body. I don't like accelerants. I don't like things. The biggest thing that I use for accelerants, you know what it is? Blackout coffee. Not because it's my sponsor, but coffee's always been like, okay, I'm going to work. Creatine, amino acids, that's it.
Yeah, the foundational
Anything that has to do
stuff.
with recovery, sleeping, resting. Ask her how many naps I take. I take naps between training.
It's good.
And nutrition. And the biggest thing that I can tell you all athletes, fasting.
Really?
Jesus Christ taught you how to fast for a reason.
Shout out John.
He taught you how to fast for a reason. To clean out your system.
Yeah.
What's the most?
You do a 72-hour fast?
Give them the 36, 72. Like when I get into the weight cuts.
Wow, man.
I look at my body in my last weigh-ins. I know what I was doing. I was doing like 6 to 7 days of 20-hour fast every day. I was eating once a day.
Yeah.
And I felt.
So when you eat that one meal, is it a big heavy meal?
Bro, I eat, bro.
You
I'm
got
a carnivore. I'm a carnivore.
This dude probably needs like 5,000 calories a day.
Churrasco, filet mignon.
So carnivore.
I'm talking like boom, and it's not just meat. I mean, all this meat, and then for the sweetness and the probiotics, Greek yogurt, but like big Greek yogurt, all this fruits, raw honey, the honeycomb.
Then
I get all the sugar my body needs.
Pass out right after.
All the protein, creatine that my body needs, the sugar, everything that I need is in there.
So you train before eating?
No.
Or after? Or you eat first?
I train fasted.
Oh, damn. Okay, so you fast all day long?
I train fasted. And remember, I'm telling you when I was cutting weight, I was doing 20-hour fast. Normally, we eat twice a day, both my wife and I. We have a real big breakfast.
Steak and eggs?
A real big early dinner before the sun comes down. Discipline, bud. Discipline and knowledge.
Yeah. Dude, you feel sharper when you train when you're fasted too.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Like you don't feel slow. Your brain feels like it's the way to do it.
Sharp. I never felt so much better.
Yep.
I've never felt so better. Never. Felt so good for this fight. Well,
everyone thinks you need that food in your stomach, but you don't.
Full of energy. Like that little sluggish feeling, you only get it in the first 14 to 18 hours. Once you pass that, man.
Well, yo, this has been great, man.
Oh wait, you still gotta answer what does success mean to you?
Oh, yeah.
What does
There you go.
success means to me? I think success at this point is a testament of my sacrifice, man. You know, for me at least. You know, the success, everything I get to show, those belts, you know, all of those, you know, awards and then all those titles, my wall that my wife put together for me. You know, it's
You did that, Karen?
Yeah, she.
That was really nice. The one with the picture that I always see where
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, because in the with the X, I'm not gonna mention the next thing. Everything I tried putting my belts like in the living room. And like, oh, this would look good here to put everything in boxes.
No.
So when I moved in with my wife, with Karen.
You're gonna kill this?
Kill it. It's all you.
Oh, okay.
It's all good. It's all good. I expected that.
So the when I moved in with her and she opened my boxes and sees my titles, it's like, why do you have this in boxes? So
Gotta
she started
show it.
bringing them out and cleaning them and fixing them for me. So she's the one that put everything together.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. Well, yo, thank you so much for taking the time to sit down with us, man. The food was great. Your story's great, man. Blows us away. We had a good time. Anything you want to plug? Where can they find you on the socials?
Yeah, on the socials at Luis Baboon, Baboon. And of course, huge shout out and thanks to Divino Ceviche,
Big thanks.
Ceviches By Divino, and Ataco By Divino. We're talking about the best Peruvian food infusions from Ataco By Divino, Mexican Peruvian infused, to Ceviche By Divino, Japanese Peruvian infused, to the original Divino Ceviche, original Peruvian food. You know how we get down with that.
Dude, it really was. Carlos, thank you so much.
Yeah, if
this
you're
was
in Miami,
delicious.
check it out.
If you're in Miami,
Yes.
by Biscayne, right now? By Biscayne.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is Baboons. We have 7 locations, so look them up.
Thank you, man.
All right.